Hey everyone, and welcome back to another amazing tech profile. Today we are taking a look at one of my new favorite pendulums. Well, kind of newish, not really been out for a while. Anyways, the Valiants. These guys work like Yu-Gi-Oh chess. They move around the board in order to activate some awesome effects to turn into some really big boss monsters. It's a really interesting deck. Complicated, but interesting. Anyways, let's dive into it. Let's get into the heart of Valiants. First off, you have 3 of the Valiant Priestess. This is a 3 must-have of the deck. She is not only a Rhoda for your deck for the Valiant monsters, she's also a Rhoda for the spell cards. Basically, once per turn, you can, hard once per turn. When you summon this card to the field, you can search for a Valiant monster from your deck and add it to your hand. Then when you move her to another monster zone, you can search for a Valiant spell card and add it from your deck to your hand. So it's basically a must-3. You gotta have 3 of the girl. Then we have 3 of the Valiant's Buster Baron. This guy, you normally want to see in your open hand along with the Priestess. Both of them together start to combo off with fire. Because if you control a special summon card, you can target one other Valiant monster on your main monster zone and move it to a active horizontal zone. You know, the one right aside of it. Then if this card moves, you can target one card in your player's pendulum zone, place it face up in the spell trap card zone as a continuous card. So when he moves, you can move a pendulum monster to the spell trap card zone on your side from the pendulum zone. Which, let's be honest, not many people are playing pendulums nowadays, but still good to know. Then we have 3 of my personal favorite Valiants. Valiant, the Mad Marquise. When he special summon, you roll a 6-sided dice. And depending on the number, depends on how many cards you excavate from the top of your deck. You add 1 Valiance card out of those excavated cards, then you shuffle the rest back into your deck. However, when he moves to their monster zone, you can roll a 6-sided dice. If you roll a 2, 3, 4, or 5, special summon 1 monster from your spell trap card zone to your main monster zone. So, basically helps you add any card from any Valiance card that you draw from the dice roll. If you don't happen to have one, then it kind of sucks, but if you roll a 6, there's a good chance you get one. If not, then you definitely got some bad luck going on there. Then we get on to 2 of Sanod, the Valiant Archer. Now this guy, if he's special summoned, you can target 1 effect monster on the field, toss a coin. If the result is heads, negate the effect. If the result is tails, half the attack. Negate the effect or half the attack. You mainly want the effects negated, but if it's a big booty monster with really no defense, then yeah, half its attack so you can get over it. If this card moves to another zone though, you can target 1 card on the field, toss a coin. If the result's heads, destroy it. If the result tails, return it to the hand. So, here negates the attack, cuts it, attack in half. I mean, not negates the effect, cuts the attack in half, or destroys or bounces the card to your hand. This effect's really interesting. Then we have 2 of the Valiant's Warrior, Hojo. Now, with Hojo, you target 1 face-up spell, 1 card in either spell trap card zone, return it to the hand. If this card in a monster zone is moved to another monster zone, you can fusion summon 1 Valiant fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters on your hand, field, or pendulum zone. So if he moves, you are able to special summon any of your Valiant fusion monsters thanks to his little effect. Plus allows you to use some of those spell or trap cards that have a very soft once per turn with them. Then we have 2 of the Valiant's Voltage of the Scout. And he's made it here because the Valiant effect, because you rarely will use this effect, but if you do, it's good on you. Because if you control the special summon card, you can place 1 face a Valiant monster in the pendulum zone from your extra deck. face up in your spell and trap card zone as a continuous spell card. If this card is in the monster zone is moved, you can place one face up Valiant's Pendulum monster from your extra deck in your Pendulum zone. So, summon them, get one Valiant monsters out, put it in the spell trap card zone. Then if you move them, put it in the Pendulum zone, which can allow you to go back into more Pendulum summons or special more bodies onto the board. Then we have 2 of the Valyant's Ninja, and he works like Baron. You can target one of our monster on either main monster zone, move the monster to another monster zone horizontal. If this card in a monster zone is moved to another monster zone, you target one Valiant monster that is in your spell trap card zone and special summon it to the main monster zone in the same column. So, summon him, move one of your monsters, move him, get special summon a monster. If you have one spell trap card zone, not bad. Then the last of the Valiants is one Valiant's Dominator, the Duke. And with him, you can target one set card in the spell trap card zone. That card cannot be activated, so stops your opponent from activating it and blocks that space from being used. If this card moves to another zone, you can target one face-up monster in your opponent's main monster zone. Take control of that monster, but it cannot declare attack nor activate its effects. And history of the Valiant's monster. So basically, brain control with legs and attack power. So, but only one of him in the deck. But you can build it however you want, but I do recommend you stick with 3 of the Priestess and 3 of the Duke for sure, as those remain. Now for a little extra engine in it, we have 2 of the Mystical Beast Cerberus. And the main reason he is in here, because if you control no cards in your Pendulum zone, you can destroy this card. And if you do, add 1 level 7 lower Mystical Beast effect monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn, because you want to use him to go into combo to get Mystical Beast Jackal. Now what Mystical Beast Jackal does, if you have no other cards in your other Pendulum zone, you destroy this card if you do special summon 1 Mystical Beast Pendulum monster from your extra deck. So you would use him, destroy him, add him to hand, put him on the field, pop him, special summon him, which gives you an extra body to go into Link summons, XE summons, any type of summon that you really need him to be. Then we have 2 of the Deep Sea Diva, just so we have a little tuner action going on here. When she's summoned, you can special summon 1 level 3 or lower Sea Serpent monster, which means you can special summon herself from the deck, which is good. Then we have 1 of Yugioh, the Karate Spirit. Basically, he's just in here for his big scale. When you Pendulum summon with this card, it comes right back to your hand. Just like all spirit monsters, except it still does it in the Pendulum zone, and will do it on the field if you summon it. That's it for that little side engine. Now for the hand traps, which is only going to be 3 Ash Blossom Joyous Spring, one of the best hand traps around. Now onto the spell cards of the deck, we have 3 of the Valiant's Waking Solo Activation. You place 1 Valiant Pendulum monster from your deck in your Pendulum zone. With this card, if a card is in the field zone, you can banish this card from banish this card from the graveyard and target 1 Valiant monster in your main monster zone. Move that monster control to a horizontal monster zone. So, get your Valiant monster into your Pendulum zone, then banish this card if you have a field spell, or to move your other Valiant monster around, kicking off the other effects, which is nice. Then we have 2 of the Valiant field spell Kong Whis, which when this card activates, place another Valiant field spell from your deck into your opponent's field spell zone except for this one. If there are 2 cards in the field spell zone, the turn player can target 1 effect monster your opponent's main monster zone in the same column as one of the monsters they control, and place that monster face up in a continuous spell trap card zone. Same column is occupied, you destroy the card that is already occupying it. So basically, it takes care of total cards like Mary Jane and Elemental Hero Sub-Zero. Those cards that when they leave the field, they have board wipe effects or effects that get it off. This is good for dealing with some of the troubling boss monsters. It moves them to a place that's hard for them to get out. But it will only work if you have this guy right here on the field as well, which is the Valiant World Cherry Bashul. Basically, the top's the same. It gets on the right here. The target player can target one monster card of their own spell trap card zone. Then special summon that card into main monster zone. And that's it. That's all that one does. As long as you got 2 of these on the field, you can use both the effects. The main issue is you need to find a way to... Actually, not really that big of an issue. As long as you play it right, you're good to go. It's gonna just, it's just good to have. Then we have 2 of the Valiant Wars, the Place of Beginnings. And yes, this one is a collector's rare in the deck. I really want to max out rarity of this deck. We'll get onto that topic later, though. Basically, this card is activated. Add 1 of the field spells from your deck to your hand. Then you can play the following effect. Destroy 1 pendulum monster card you control. If you do, add a Sentinel Switch from your deck to your hand. If this card is in the graveyard, except a turn it was sent there, you can banish this card. Place 1 face-up Valiant Pendulum monster from your extra deck in your Pendulum zone. So, as a field spell, also pop a Pendulum monster. Get your Sentinel Switch, which you activate and help move some of your Valiants around, triggering off some powerful effects. Then, if you need it for next turn, you can banish it to get you another Valiant monster in your Pendulum zone. Pretty fun card to have. Then we have 1 Sentinel Switch, which is a very old card, and I love it when decks do this. This card, it's a very simple effect. Target 1 monster in your main monster zone. Choose 1 unused monster zone, horizontal, and move the target to that monster zone. Basically, this is what it does. It turns the board into Yu-Gi-Oh! Chess, moving everything around left and right, in order to activate their effects. Then we have 2 Pendulum Hall, which this card, if you have 3 or more face-up Pendulum monsters with different names in your extra deck, draw 2 cards. You cannot add cards from the deck to your hand for the rest of the turn after this card resolves. So, you want to do this at the end of your big combo, just to ensure that you don't need to really search the deck for anything else. I always say this card towards the end of my combos, because by then, you have more than enough Valiants in the extra deck, or in the extra deck, and you got your board set up, so you don't really have to search, and this draws 2 extra cards which you can use at that moment, or decent hand trap stuff for your opponent. Then we have 1 other random Pendulum and I'm not gonna say that whole thing. Anyways, this turn card's Pendulum Zone cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effect. Also negate any effects activated by your opponent that targets cards in the Pendulum Zone. So you set this card or activate it your turn. Either way, your opponent goes to try to stop you by destroying your pendulum combos or anything like that. Basically, it's gonna stop them. As long as it's something with your pendulum zones, it will protect them and keep them from being destroyed. But that's it for the main deck. Let's get on to the side deck. Extra deck, I mean. First, we have 2 of the Mananaka, the Valiants United. This is one of the big boss monsters for the deck that you can fusion summon with 3 Valiant monsters, which really isn't that hard with this deck to get out. But let's look at its Pendulum effect first. First, its Pendulum effect. Specialist card to your main monster zone in the same column. Move 1 monster in your main monster zone to another monster zone horizontally. As for its effect, monster effect, during the main phase, quick effect. You can target 1 effect monster in your opponent's main monster zone and place that card face up in the spell and trap card zone in the same column. And just like the field spell, if it's occupied with a card, you destroy that card. If this card in the main, and if a monster card in your, why is my tongue getting tied? Sorry. Is a monster, your opponent loses life points equal to its attack. You can only use the effect this card once per turn. If this special summon card is destroyed by your opponent's card effect, place it in your pendulum zone. So, if you're lucky, you already got one of your opponent's monsters in the spell trap card zone. If they have if they have a monster above that one, move it in, pop it, then your opponent takes damage, which can be pretty good, especially if it's a big attack point monster. Then we have the Valiants, the Duke. This one I summon out more than any of them. It's just got the best artwork. I just think he's the better boss monster than him, but I only have one of, just because you only need one of the Duke to take care of all your problems. This face down card and extra type must be first fusion summon or special summon by attributing one level 5 or higher non-fusion Valiant monster in the same column as the extra monster zone. So, if you have any of your Valiant monsters are level 5 or higher, right beneath the extra monster zone, send him to the grave to summon him, which is phenomenal. Then, if this card is special summon, you can target one monster your opponent's spell and trap card zone, return it to the hand. If you do, inflict damage to your opponent's life points equal to its attack. This card gains attack equal to half of the damage inflicted. So, if you're lucky, dude's got like 4,000, 5,000 attack or whatever. That's big damage. Plus, on top of that, he gets half of that. That could be an OTK right there. Yeah, OTK. FTK. FTK is on the first turn. Then for the final fusion deck, we have the newest one that dropped. Artos, the Valiants. He is the newest one that just got made. And you can special summon this card to say Monster Zone. And you can move a monster. That's his pendulum effect. However, his effect is this card must be first special summoned by attributing the above cards, which is 2 level 5 or higher Valiant monsters, which, once again with this deck, isn't that hard to do. Quick effect. You can switch the location of 2 monsters in your main monster zone or 2 monsters in your opponent's monster zone. If a card in the monster zone moves to another monster zone, except their nemesis, destroy 1 card on the field. So not only does it move yours, you can move your opponents around and then pop one of their cards. And depending on how you get the board set up, you can move that monster into a zone that has like Relinquish Anima or something that stops, absorbs, and takes care of that monster. But that's it for the Valiant's fusion monsters. Now we get on to the one synchro monster deck, which is Borlo's Salvage Dragon. Y'all know Borlo. He makes an appearance almost most synchro decks that exist. Basically, negate in a way. Then for the XCs, which we have 3 of, we have number 38, Hope Harbinger Dragon. Number 107, Galactic Eyes Tactical Dragon. I can't say his name, just the Orcus, the boy with the big spear. Then we have Zeus. And that's it for the XC monsters right there that we got. Then we get on to the link tree that we got, which is one Beyond Pendulum, which is a lesser version of Metaphos, but still works, helps you add any pendulum monster from your deck to your hand. It costs of 1,200 life points, and when you do, pendulum effects are negated until you pendulum summon. But also, if you have the special summon monsters, this areas this card points to, then you get to target 2 cards on the field and destroy them, which can help you out quite a little bit. I always forget the second effect though, like every single time. Then we have 1 IP Masquerena, 1 Nightmare Unicorn with IP Chillin'. Then we have 1 Appaloosa, the Bow of the Goddess. 1 Underworld Goddess. Then finally we have the Mekk-Knight Crusader, which these 2 right here are always just superb link monsters you want to go into for this deck, especially because Appaloosa is a monster negate and he stops most of your opponent's extra monsters or special monsters perfecto every time. But anyways guys, that is the Valiants deck. The deck that makes Yu-Gi-Oh! More complicated. It has to be, but it's still fun to play, especially if you like playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Chess, which is what this basically turns the game into. If y'all want me to give you a demonstration of how the deck works, let me know. I will make a video playing around this deck, doing some test hands and everything for y'all, so y'all can get a hang of it and everything. Anyways guys, thanks for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed. Catch you on the next one. Bye!